On August 13, 2018, after a business trip, Shanann Watts was dropped off at home around 2 a.m. by her colleague Nicole Utoft. Several hours later, when Shanann didn't show up for work or respond to messages, Nicole called and texted her but got no reply. Concerned, Nicole contacted Shanann's OB-GYN and learned that her friend had missed her 10 a.m. fetal heartbeat checkup. Worried, Nicole drove to Shanann's house. On the way, she called Chris, who told her that Shanann had taken the kids to a friend's house, but he didn't say who the friend was. Nicole immediately reported this to the police. The police arrived at Shanann Watts' home at nearly the same time as Nicole, around noon. They rang the doorbell, but no one answered. They walked around the house, trying to find a way in, but the doors were all locked. Shanann's car was still in the garage at that moment. Chris arrived home. Inside, the police noted that everything was neat and undisturbed, yet Shanann and her 2 daughters had vanished. Her keys, wallet, medication, and phone were still in the house. She had even left behind her wedding ring, indicating she had no intention of being gone for long. The bed sheet from the couple's bed had been pulled off and was on the floor. But there were no signs of a struggle. Oddly, one of the pillowcases had been thrown into the kitchen trash can. In an interview with Denver 7 News about Shanann, Chris said that he saw his wife when she arrived home at around 2 a.m. At around 4 a.m., he told Shanann that he wanted to separate. According to Chris, the two had a heated but civil conversation. At about 5:27 a.m., Chris got into his truck and left for work. That was the last time he claimed to have seen his wife. Chris and Shanann Watts were both born and raised in North Carolina. In 2012, they got married despite strong opposition from Chris's family. In fact, he was even disowned by them. Nevertheless, the early years of their marriage were filled with happiness. In 2013, the couple bought a 5-bedroom house and moved to Colorado. In their new home, they welcomed their first daughter, Bella, in December 2013. 3 years later, another beautiful little girl was born, Celeste, often called Cease. The Watts family appeared to be very happy on social media.
My daddy is a hero. He helped me grow up strong. He helped me not go true. He reads me books. He ties my shoes. You're a hero.
Frequently sharing photos and videos of their life together as a family, Chris worked for an oil and gas company, while Shanann was a brand representative for several companies in short-term partnerships with the marketing company Lavelle. In June 2018, Shanann posted a video in which she revealed to Chris that she was pregnant with their 3rd child. And Chris's reaction appeared to be quite happy, appearing on TV, in newspapers, and during interviews. Chris seemed deeply saddened and worried about his beloved wife and 2 daughters. But was that truly what he was feeling inside? After a day without any sign of Shanann returning, local police officially declared her missing and requested assistance from the FBI. Chris quickly became the prime suspect for the police due to several suspicious signs. For example, on the day the mother and her 2 children went missing, police found that Chris had called the school to report that the 2 kids would not be attending the following year. Another call suggested he intended to transfer ownership of the family home. Police questioned where Chris had been during the time the family disappeared. GPS data from his truck confirmed that he had gone to the Anadarko oil drilling site where he worked. On August 15, 2018, with the support of a drone equipped with a camera, police discovered a piece of bedsheet with a pattern matching the pillowcase found in the victim's home. That same evening, Chris Watts was arrested on suspicion of murder and tampering with a body. The police conducted a lie detector test, which Chris failed. After requesting and being allowed to call his father, Chris confessed to killing his wife and revealed the location where he had hidden the body. On August 16, 2018, police found Shanann Watts' body buried just beneath the surface in a hastily dug grave nearby. Close to there, the bodies of the 2 girls were buried in 2 crude oil containers. The officers recovering Bella and Cece's bodies were nearly overwhelmed by what they saw, however. Chris claimed that Shanann Watts had killed their 2 children out of anger over the separation. When he found out, he said he was so furious that he killed his wife and buried all 3 bodies. The police did not believe Chris Watts' statement because there was no sign or evidence that Shanann had harmed her daughters. On August 20th, 2018, the Weld County District Attorney's Office charged Chris with 9 counts, 3 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of first-degree murder of children under 12, 1 count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased body. After nearly 2 months in custody, Chris pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty. He admitted to all the charges and was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences. 48 years for unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and 36 years for disposing of the victims' bodies. At the court, Chris's father-in-law said to the murderous son-in-law, "I trusted you to care for my daughter and my 2 grandchildren, not to take their lives. This sentence is far too lenient for you." The judge presiding over Marcelu Kopkow's case stated, "This is perhaps the most inhumane and evil case I have ever encountered among the thousands of cases I have seen. A life sentence is completely appropriate." On February 18, 2019, in an interview with Colorado police and prosecutors attended by an FBI agent, Chris confessed to killing his 2 daughters. He described in detail what happened on the morning of August 13th. To this day, criminal psychologists have not fully unraveled the reasons behind Chris Watts' brutal actions against his wife and daughters. However, some events appear to be directly related to his criminal behavior. Chris and Shanann filed for bankruptcy together in June 2015 in a Colorado state court. Chris Watts was working at the oil company Anadarko Petroleum Corporation. At that time, the couple had a debt of about $448,000. The bankruptcy case ended in October 2015. Although life was still challenging, Shanann's career began to improve. She often went on business trips, sometimes with Chris accompanying her, but most of the time he stayed home to take care of the children. Shanann and Chris's parents did not have a harmonious relationship. In a message to a friend, Shanann said that her in-laws had cut off contact with her because she was angry at them after they gave her 2 children ice cream and fries, 2 foods her kids were allergic to. Chris's parents cut off all contact with Shanann, even failing to call the 2 children on their birthdays. Shanann once told Chris that his mother was a devil and had tried to harm their 2 daughters. On August 7th, Chris revealed that he was not truly happy about having a 3rd child. After that, he became so cold toward his wife that she had to cancel the gender reveal party for their unborn baby after a business trip to North Carolina with their children. Shanann became more aware of the instability in her relationship with Chris. When they returned, she felt her husband had become a different person. He started working out to lose weight and improve his appearance, and they no longer shared affectionate gestures. Later, Shanann discovered that Chris was having an affair with a co-worker named Nicole Kessinger. Chris lied to Nicole, telling her that he and his wife were separated and about to get a divorce. He lied to Nicole many times and even promised her a new life and marriage. Chris claimed that he was asleep at the time, but his wife wanted to be intimate, and they stayed together until morning. He didn't feel comfortable with it, and that morning, Shanann tearfully told Chris that she knew he had another woman. Chris denied it, but also said he wanted to end things with Shanann simply because they couldn't get along. In response, his wife angrily said, "Then don't ever expect to see the kids again," in a fit of rage. He slapped and choked his wife until she couldn't breathe. Chris said that at the time, he couldn't control himself and wished he could have let everything go. He then went to CZ's bedroom, who was 3 years old at the time, and attacked her with her favorite blanket. Meanwhile, the older daughter Bella was also there and witnessed everything. After he loaded Shanann and Cece's bodies into the car, Bella ran after him crying. Chris told her that her mother was feeling unwell. He said that Bella was a smart child and fully aware of what was happening. Then, he put her into the car, along with the bodies of her mother and sister. He took them all to a plot of land owned by the oil company where he worked. After burying his wife's body, Bella asked her father, "Dad, will I be like Cease too?" He replied, "Yes." Then he did the same to Bella using the blanket. Bella's last words to her father were, "Please don't do this." After attacking the remaining girl, he stuffed the bodies of Cease and Bella into an oil drum. Chris admitted that he had initially brought a gas canister in the truck, intending to commit suicide with his family and dispose of all evidence. However, he feared that igniting the gas could cause an explosion and endanger other lives in the surrounding area. Ultimately, he returned home, pretending nothing had happened, and appeared distraught when the police requested his cooperation in investigating the disappearance of his wife and children. Shanann's parents were devout Catholics, so to them, ghosts were just fictional stories. However, during an episode of the popular American talk show Dr. Phil, Shanann's mother shared that the night before police found the bodies of her daughter and 2 granddaughters, Shanann came to her in a dream. In the dream, Shanann was holding her unborn son in her arms and said, "I'm sorry, Mom, I love you, and I want you to see your grandson. His name is Nico." At that time, the grandmother didn't yet know that her daughter was pregnant with a baby boy, because it wasn't until Thursday night, August 9th, that the couple had found out the baby's gender. On Friday morning, Shanann flew out on a business trip and returned home on Monday night. That was the last time she was seen alive. Bella and Cease also appeared to their grandmother. Bella told her that her stomach hurt, while Cease, wearing a diaper, hugged and kissed her, saying, "Now I can go to Disneyland anytime I want." It was that dream that helped the police identify the 2 children. The next morning, when the bodies were found, it turned out that Bella's stomach had indeed been filled with oil, and Cease was still wearing a diaper. 2 female and 2 male police officers reported hearing the sound of children laughing in the girls' bedroom and the cry of a woman calling for help near the garage when they returned to the house to collect evidence and seal the property. To this day, the house remains unsold. On some nights, neighbors have called the police after seeing a woman inside the home and the bedroom lights turned on. But when officers arrived, there was nothing there. What was truly chilling was when Chris saw his wife's phone sitting on the stairs. As the police entered the house, it made him extremely nervous. According to his confession, he had hidden Shanann's phone and couldn't believe his eyes when it appeared in front of the officers, as if someone had found it and deliberately placed it there. Thanks to that phone, police discovered information about Chris's affair and his intention to divorce his wife. Today, Chris is paying the price for his crimes in a Wisconsin prison, serving out the rest of his life in solitary confinement. He has said that the images of his wife and children haunt him and torment him every single day. Every time he closes his eyes, Bella's final words before he strangled her echo in his mind. "Daddy, please don't do this." When asked about what was going through his mind when he killed his entire family, Chris said, "At that moment, I felt like a completely different person. If I had been able to think clearly, none of it would have happened. If only I hadn't killed Shanann, I would have a 5-year-old daughter, a 4-year-old daughter, and maybe a 1-year-old baby boy now, along with a beautiful wife. But now, I have nothing." Today's video ends here. Thank you all for watching until the very end. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.